For the greatest possible lifetime, we work and we thrive in the environment of the relevancy. We want to be the center of the importance of that we are seeing. We want to pioneer. We want to parent and raise up America. We want to make things better. Greta certainly highlights that there is understanding that there is life force behind climate change and the need for that. My work has been to work with society and talk about how the golden statues opens up and alleviates that we can afford to perform the climate transformation. The Green Wolf is extremely advanced as a character, but when people see the family unit on the screen, there is the ability for them to transcend and understand what is being said. Having the luxury of voice actresses performing my parts of my family, and the luxury of an editing suite where my footage actually gets cut down and spiced up and illustrated so that people have the relief where they can feel the entire group is being lifted up. This right now, just me talking, this is really intense. It's a very powerful format. So I want to talk about the first season of South Park. I'm sorry, my first season of South Park, the 23rd season of South Park. Um, and I don't know what, I go into this dreamy place when I'm thinking about South Park. I'm okay. I'm trying to reach the brightest future. I'm trying to get this job, right? Be on my side about this, you guys. All right. It is a long haul to get to the place where I'm projected as going. And you need to understand, I have common sense, like as the Green Wolf, I can understand how as an operation, you need to not be attacking the wealthy or blaming the immigration, but have this sort of plan which, works actually naturally. There are solutions. And I'm not claiming to be, this sort of uh, I'm claiming to be myself. The point is that when I get into a situation where I have, people working with me, we're going to be going over every single issue. It's going to take a lot of time, but I'm the sort of common sense guidance that can crack through the ice and give people the idol of the green wolf visually. They understand it's different. And then when we actually illustrate, the engines of how we're going to change each of these aspects, and I think I have a very good common sense about the leadership and the pacing, and about like not getting too carried away with like excessive research and details, and like, oh, this is the answer. The answer is the green wolf. Okay, so I'm performing that. I'm existing as the lone wolf right now, and I'm working towards getting into a studio. But I wanted to talk about the next season of South Park, the 23rd season. And I want to talk about the first episode's airing tonight, and it's about the ISIS issue. And well, that's what I know from the preview. I have a feeling that there is going to be a trick surprise to it. I'm excited to see it, and I'm here to support that and say that it's going to be awesome. And really, I'm excited to, and I'm also excited because I'm glad that it's political, because then at least I feel that Trey is on board with like, okay, America has problems. Let's like get the taste of that and then talk about this. So I wanted to actually talk about the Green Wolf robot. So we've gone over to my satisfaction about my idea of presenting the Green Wolf character and his wife Millie and the Halloween twins, and they have this sort of refurbished. Maybe it's like an old water wheel mill in from some side of South Park that we haven't visited. There's like this. Oh, there's this eclectic couple that are, they like refurbish an older house, and then you go inside and it's kind of spooky, and they're building this green wolf robot, and it gets to this point where my character is talking to Eric Cartman and Stan and Kyle and Kenny about uh, h- because he's the scientist and he's really interested in the interface and everything. He's curious about what these boys think causes the robot to awaken and what causes AI and all this. It's a really interesting conversation. But that leads up to a story where they're have the ability. It's like a spark plug, but they're sort of making. Um, and I know that this is a stretch for Trey, but I think that's what's exciting here is a challenge in the writing room, and but that causes sort of these ideas and stuff. And there's absolutely a way to make it funny and make it South Park. So that's what Trey does. Anyway, the important thing here is that the green wolf is the symbol of attacking the trash island and breaking all the problems of the world, but specifically, cracking that armor of the climate crisis and really getting into a place where we're actually talking about that. And that is what I'm serious about. But, I'm more of someone who, with the golden statues, I figure out a way to actually reach people and not like be, oh, it's your fault or, you know, but actually solutions is what I present. Okay, so I want to carry that along. But anyway, the Green Wolf robot is sort of this character who, visually he promises and he breaks the trash island and that completes the promise. Okay, because it's sort of like this thing. And then I was saying, you understand, this could mean a Green Wolf robot in toy form. But I want to talk more about that because I felt like there were certain parts of it which I was leaving open for Trey Parker because of his forte and his understanding. But I wasn't meaning to leave it like shabby. Okay, you understand? The Green Wolf robot goes on from the image of that to being like a pink salt lantern, which causes good luck or it takes away problems from your life. It causes that people have the more health and fertility in their household. So that's basically what the robot is supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's piercing the veil of climate change, and then you're saying like, well, what is this toy about? I'm saying that's what it is, but I wanted to go into this detail where I don't want it to be that the robot is in pieces, like, oh, Kenny has his leg and Cartman has the arm and they form, that's ridiculous. So what I'm thinking more is like it's a beautiful Green Wolf simple robot, like 12 inches tall or whatever. And it comes with Millie. And then the boys each have like a um, hydrogen jack that's it's like a spark plug visually. And they each have like a different tail feather maybe to sympathize with what the characters put into it. Like Eric thought, oh, it should have this like really cool mohawk or something. And so it has this sort of particular thing. But then, so the Green Wolf actually doesn't it doesn't light up and open its eyes until all of these plugs are plugged in. But it's a full wolf, and it just has these like four or five or six compartments in the back which need to register this sort of AI computer thing. And then the green wolf awakens and howls. But so this is where it gets interesting because you're talking about. I was trying to say, we want to perfect this, and so it's almost like if you take it to a tablet and be like, oh, the games are accessible here, and you can train this little thing like that. It's almost like it detaches from the tactility, the physical, hands-on thing of the wolf robot. Um, and then, okay, so what I'm trying to say is that the theme of the game of what the wolf does is it brings health and fortuity and armor, and also just this feeling about a revolution. Okay, so we begin with the visuals of the South Park, but then we give them the sort of game that I want it to be more like the Dark Tower, where it had this sort of simple, like just light bulbs, and then it sort of has this slideshow which is totally awesome. And so, what like I need, I'm asking for Trey's input on this and imagination now, but so to put on our thinking caps, what it is that it's basically a progress where the person assembling the robot, I was thinking, could even put like a specific thing of um, like you can gear the plugs that you put them in, like, and then when the Green Wolf robot wakes up, it's sort of like beginning to attack, like the trash island. Okay, it's going at your problems in your life, and it's helping you and working. And then when, like, maybe it has like this circle on its chest, and when it defeats the problems that you've put into it, it goes "Aroo!" and it howls, and there's like a little fire flame there. And so, like, departing from like over Tectify, with a tablet, but so maintaining the tactile feeling. But then surrounding that Green Wolf are the South Park characters, and they're all there to be a part of that function. And it's sort of visual and it's emotional. It's not about like some, you know, virus or some finicky um, little thing. It's more about the people and a shared experience of visually seeing the Green Wolf as a great crescendo of the 23rd season. And that's an awesome experience. And then there's sort of this thing where commercials or whatever, you can pre-order, your thing, and it's due. They're not sure when it's going to be due out or whatever, and then it rises up, and then it's quite natural for us to understand how this employee, Pan of the Wild, he worked with Trey here, and they made some stuff happen. But then, you know, that sort of brings us into Master Source Industries, where I'm able to give my own free speech and I'll be producing my own media and doing my own thing. So it's not that you guys are responsible for specifically what I feel is to be political, but um, it's about us living as Americans and also raising up, a haggard year. 2019, it's sad. And we want to be someone who's responding to Greta and to these kids. They're going to be protesting next Friday. This is something they want to do every week. So that's really relevant. And I just think that, if South Park does want to tackle the issue of the climate crisis or respond to what these awesome kids are doing, the Green Wolf is precisely that, and I do carry through with the honor and respect to what I'm presenting here as like a serious campaign, a serious hope. And for me, it's like I know it's absolutely real, but it's a lot of bridges that you cross when you get to it. I know how to solve this thing. I'm really good at figuring out systems, but it's going to take a lot of people and a lot of hard work, and I understand that. So once again, I want to describe like I don't think the Green Wolf robot should be actually in pieces. Like, yeah, that's ridiculous, and it doesn't look right. So it's more like this mainframe of the Green Wolf toy. And so I'm also saying is like, we don't have to be worried about like, oh, the development and the shipping of this toy doesn't line up with the exact end of the season. It doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. It's just about a narrative that people get to interact with and relate also on a really cool level with Greta. And I was thinking, we could bring Greta in to South Park and have her voice a character. What would the Green Wolf, and maybe she could be, spooling something into one of those. Uh, Sorry, one of those computer. It's sort of this intrigue where my character is sort of inviting the South Park boys to say like, well, what do you think makes a robot work and all this stuff. It's sort of because he's interested in that level of the science. Absolutely, and that's real. Like I actually have that intrigue about the characters in the South Park and what sort of interface do they experience physically. Of course, it's energetic and if not spiritual, you could just say it's a little energetic, but it is something. They have eyes, and so it's suggested that they have some sort of uh, you know interface with human life on in America. Um, and we're not departing from our responsibility. Trey has his responsibility and his feeling of what that is, and he continues that. We're not trying to change that. But I would like to suggest that the green wolf is a very powerful symbol, and it continues to be copacetic. Like you understand, oh, that works on this way and that way and that way. Oh, this really brings that over to this side. All right. So that's what I'm sensing. Well, it's difficult to be looking ahead and say, okay, how is he talking about, dissolving the electoral college and what sort of plans does he have? All of that is rather theoretical because we need the life force. We need to have, and we need to actually work it out. But it is that I do have a plan and I have an understanding, but it's a lot of bridges that I have to cross when I get to it. Right now, I'm just working really hard for the funding to get into a studio, which is completely affordable. We're not talking about like, oh, I need money to tour around. And, I'm trying to depart from the business as usual with these other campaign people who uh, I don't feel are representing the voice of America. And they're not actually, they're saying they're proactive and about these issues, but it looks like a headline to me. And so a lot of my work is energetic, and I know that's different, but I really do believe it's a return to honor and that people need to do some self building, armor up from within. And so a lot of my things have like work uh, templates where people can follow along and do worksheets that are printed out for free. But a little bit of work inside of the meditation is really healthy for people to feel that they've built and climbed. And I think you'll be surprised they get up to this point, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're able to do all of this transformation. But it has to involve with the people. And even some of the people who are hailed as like, oh, he's the philosophy of tomorrow, whatever, he's still on stage giving speeches. He's not relating to people as like, oh, we're actually family values raising up, um, a living family. All right. And it's not just about, oh, play with the baby. We have like a serious respect that needs to happen and needs to build so that we can uh, put on the yoke of climate change and actually, you know, solve it in this generation and not leave it to kids. Thank you so much, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I am applying to South Park Studios for the next season. And I understand you guys have been, working really hard, and you've already got projections for what you're doing. I'm just suggesting, my side of it, and I'm hoping that you pick me up so that I can afford to open up my studio and begin my work with my presentation about the Green Wolf. And I am Pan of the Wild. Of course, my wife Millie and the Halloween twins, the Alicorn Stallion. This is my family, but when people see it visually in the cartoon image, it's not really as strange as me sort of talking about it right now. But it's sort of this understanding about a cartoon family like The Simpsons and the sort of appreciation that happens. And of course, I mentioned, having voice actresses and other animators helping me to open this up is really a powerful uh, 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 beacon of hope. It is a life force of its own, and it's a kingdom, it's a palace. All right. Thank you so much, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I do love to bow. I think it's very, or maybe it's my affinity for Japan and my plans for communicating with England. Um, it's good to be alive and on our planet, be relevant and be aware of like the historical, you know, situation where we're at and what's going on and everything. I'm really in love with what I'm doing. And so I just once again I am asking for this and the I hope I've described so with the Green Wolf robot, it's sort of this uh, uh, an introduction to people being like, oh, the Green Wolf is fighting against what's the trouble in my life. I was thinking like, with Trey, I was like, I want it to be like a board game, but like, because it should take some time and it should get to a place where when there's like a little circle screen on the chest of the Green Wolf robot, and when he, a feeling of like, oh, we did it, we broke our problems in our life, we time traveled, and we broke the trash island, and we worked with that, but it's sort of like, how do they put in the little things of like, I'm worried about my future, or I'm worried about the uh environment, and we want to do as much, what I'm saying? So it needs a little gameplay of like an hour of involvement to the relief, but maybe it could even take longer, of where the wolf is sort of like thinking about it and working on it for many days, until a final battle happens, and then and there's like a little, you know, you can see it on the screen. Oh, we did it, and that's really exciting to the mind, and a really good interaction. So it's very good visually on the South Park season. It's also very good, to reciprocate with what the kids are saying about climate change. They're asking for that. That's really good and healthy, and a really great opportunity to work with Greta. And then it feeds over into, wow, a really cool uh, set of toys that helps people to feel the engagement, because not everyone can go out and protest. They can't all go out and clean up the beaches, but you know what I'm trying to say is like, that's where you want to meet people. They're used to this sort of thing with the TV and the buying of the toys, and it could be a really huge boost. And then that sort of helps me to get into my studio, and we can afford all that and help people have some hope in this world. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you putting in the time here and speaking with me. Thank you, Trey Parker. For the greatest possible lifetime and for the greatest possible season, South Park 23, all right? So let's get to work and let's get excited about it. I am. I'm freaking. I'm on board with it. All right, for the greatest possible result, the Green Wolf 2020. It is good.